Welcome to Sovereign Mamas, the podcast sanctuary for visionary women who are building lives, businesses, and legacies in alignment with their feminine power. I'm your host, Julia Jörg, intuitive business coach, mama of two, and systems strategist for solo-led entrepreneurs. Here, we honor both your sacred role as a mama and your wild vision as a changemaker. Expect soul-aligned strategy, raw storytelling, behind the scenes, and powerful conversations that support you in scaling your business without sacrifice. If you're done choosing between success and sovereignty, you're home. Let's begin. All right, and today we're here with Kelly Schmalenberg. Hi, Kelly. This is such a pleasure to have you here on the show, on the Sovereign Mamas podcast. I'm really thrilled to talk to you today about motherhood, but then also your role as a leader. And I'm especially excited because you're a new mama. And before we dive into the sovereignty of motherhood and maybe your turning point, tell me a little bit about the moment when you realized, oh, this is motherhood. Maybe let's kick this off by the crucial aha moment.
Wow. Well, to be honest, I mean, I kind of got dropped into motherhood very fast. I went from, being, oh, he's now fussing a little bit, but we'll still keep going, and then
Yes.
I might have to bring him down. But yeah, so basically what happened was the man I'm with now, we actually met many, many years ago, like about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, maybe longer now. I lose track of time, but we started dating and it just didn't work out. But there's always been a connection with him, and he had 2 kids on his own already. So then we just separated our ways for many, many years, and finally we reconnected about 4 years ago.
Wow.
And it just clicked, and we just kind of went, we are meant to be. Like, we needed our separate paths of growth, but we are meant to be. And so I started kind of, becoming that stepmom role. And that was a navigation because his children are older, right? So I've got a 19-year-old stepdaughter, a 17-year-old stepson, and getting into that role of like, okay, so now I'm a stepmom of these teenagers.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I don't have kids of my own yet, and I'm just trying to navigate this. So that was my real introduction to motherhood of, oh my goodness, this is what it turns into. And then fast forward to last year, I ended up finding out I was pregnant, and I wasn't expecting it. We weren't really trying. We were just, we weren't opposed to the option. But my body was doing these weird things where I didn't know. I had no idea. And then finally, I realized I was pregnant in about end of March of 2024. And I went for my very first ultrasound April 10th, and I was already 19 weeks, 6 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
I
really
only had a few months to prepare and go through the process of pregnancy. And I was like, okay, so he's coming really fast. In that time, we bought a house. We were shifting our whole lives because we were living in an apartment. We didn't have the space. And then all of a sudden, he came right on his due date, which is apparently 5% of babies show up right on their due date. 9 pounds.
Oh, wow.
My first baby, I labored for about maybe 6 hours, I think. That's it. And then I pushed for 3. He got a little stuck.
Okay.
And it was exhausting. And then it was like, he's here.
Ta-da.
And that moment that he was like on my chest, it was like terrifying because of all of the stuff happening in the room, because he got a little stuck. They needed to use the vacuum, which was terrifying. And then he was there. and he was mine and he was perfect. And I'm like, wow, like this is that feeling that people talk about, right? Like I've got friends who have kids and I honestly do. Like I felt like they were basically my own. I loved them. I helped to kind of raise them. I've seen them grow up. And then I was like, but this is a feeling that matches nothing. Like there's no other feeling other than, wow, I just created this. Like amazing.
Yes.
And
Oh, so good.
And then, it went from like no kids to 3 kids all at once because when we moved into the house, the other 2 came and moved in with us. And it was just like this beautiful manifestation of a family that I've always wanted. Like I've always wanted this family dynamic. I've always wanted children. I've always wanted a very positive partnership. And it just kind of went so fast.
Wow.
And it's just such a beautiful experience and it's difficult all at the same time, but I'm sure we're going to dive into that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's a really, really unique way. And I think, well, every woman has a unique story to tell, of course. But yes, you did it reverse first, starting with teenagers and now that. So what's the dynamic in the house now? Like, do you get any support when it comes to taking over the child for like the baby for a few moments, or is that now, are you now a bit separate as you're in mama zone for with the baby and the teenagers are like, what's that? Or is it even getting you closer?
The teenagers are very involved. Like we are a very tight-knit family, which I love. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. But I don't ever expect them to take the baby. So I think that is
Yeah.
a big shift where it's like a lot of the time, I think, and they've got other siblings from their moms too. So it's like I don't ever expect them to give me a break. I don't ever expect them to take care of my child. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I think that also helps to create that freedom for them and that comfort for them, knowing that, okay, so if I want to hang out with him, I can take him for a couple minutes and she's not expecting. So it's like, every
Hmm.
once in a while, my stepdaughter will be like, do you want me to take him for a minute so you can have a shower? Or do you want me to,
Yeah.
do this? Or she'll just go, can I play with him? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Right. Like he's your brother. You can do whatever. So they're very, very much like, and they know that they're role models for him. And they know that was such a big age gap as well. Right. Like there's
Hmm.
17 years between him and my stepson and 19 years between him and my stepdaughter. So it's like there's such a realization, I think, for them as well that they're stepping into this role of a role model. And
Hmm.
it's not that sibling dynamic of they're playing together and they're fighting and they're gonna like be jealous and fighting over toys and stuff like that. It's this, oh, maybe I need to really watch myself. Maybe I need to really like get into this space of adulthood, get into this knowing what I want to do with my life because he's watching me too.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think it's really helped with that.
It's a win-win situation, I'd say.
Yeah.
And what would you say like was the we now heard about the journey into motherhood and how, because you're not just a mother. How would you describe maybe the difference between you as the leader, that's the business owner, and how would you, yeah, describe that journey of how those two shaped each other for you?
Yeah. It was the craziest thing. When I found out I was pregnant, I went into full like I think my body was just so in feminine creating life that my mind and my heart was like, I have passion. I want to do this. I want to create momentum. And right when I found out I was pregnant, like it just shifted such a big energy in my business where I was like, I'm going to launch a summit. I'm going to get help. I'm going to do this. And I started actually creating a massive summit where I interviewed, I think it was 20 women. or close to 20 women, and I created this whole week-long summit. I did all of the promotion for it, and I'm like gigantic, going, hey, like, let's just add on to this. Again, I was out looking for houses. Because my husband works all the time, so he didn't have all the time during the day. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna step forward and do that. So I was building my business, finding a house, growing a human being, and it was so easy and effortless. It felt like it was stressful and exhausting, but easy and effortless all at the same time. So I had that duality. Once Colt arrived, I had some health stuff go on. Like I
Mm.
had some retained placenta. So, but the doctors couldn't find what was going on. And I was just having these issues for 11 weeks postpartum. And I just felt drained and exhausted. And I was like, how am I gonna like maintain this momentum? Like I
Mm.
created all of this momentum when I was pregnant, and now I'm postpartum, and I'm like, how am I gonna keep this going?
Mm. So there
Right? It
should
was
be
that whole
like there should be a flag somewhere for all the pregnant women because I had to laugh so much when you said that because I was exactly the same. Um, and I- multiple offers out there, plans and saying yes to clients. Yeah, no problem. 5 weeks after the birth, I can surely take on this big project and stuff. And oh, little did I know that the hormones during pregnancy give you that boost, and you're like, oh,
Mm,
and then afterwards it's quite the opposite. And no one tells you. I mean, yes, th there is resources out there, but you don't get it. I don't feel like there's enough shaking, like shaking women awake that you are definitely changing, and the way you're doing business has to adjust. It's your children are going to force you to slow down, and that's okay.
yeah.
I struggled the most with that slowing down because I used to be such a not a workaholic, but I loved like I really passionate about everything I was doing, and then the minute there was this little human being that now needed 24/7, I was like, but moment, so where hang on, how do I fit all the other things in that I also am passionate about? And had I had a handbook saying, okay, it's just these 2 years after birth where you really should have systems in place, automation going on, so that when you're back and the little one doesn't need you 24/7 anymore, now you can pick up the momentum and nothing. But yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about Sovereign Mamas and this movement here, because I do feel we need to talk about this a lot more clearly, more open, and also, yes, help see that there are phases in motherhood. It's not the end, because I also have a friend, she told me that she thought she needs to choose between one or the other.
Mm,
And you get to do both. It's just about the adjustment of the rhythm of doing the things, right?
yeah. And do you know what? When you brought me the Sovereign Mamas information, I was just like, yes, this is so good. Because again, like I I almost felt lonely. Like, I mean, there's going to be times in motherhood, and I want every woman to know this. If you're pregnant, or even if you're a new mom, or even if you're a seasoned mom, like you're going to feel lonely at times. Like there's so much loneliness that happens because you are the only one in your household really that knows what's going on with you.
Yeah,
And as much support as you can receive, there's just this space of like, I don't even know what's going on with me. So how could they possibly know?
exactly.
Right. And you get this like hormonal imbalance. And then all of a sudden, like your period's coming back. And then, if you're breastfeeding, like the breastfeeding journey is just
Oh,
another thing. Right. I'm like, I love it so much. And so at times I'm just like, oh, like, why do you eat so much? And then
yeah.
you feel the mom guilt.
Oh my
Right. It's
gosh.
like such a cycle. And then I'm like, I just want to run my business. Like, I am so passionate about my business. I love what I do. I love leading the women and navigating, finding that balance, especially because I'm like no screens for him right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
right? I want no screens for my baby, but I run an online business that uses screens. So I'm like, I can't even really work while he's up, and he's always up. So what do I do? And then it can be very frustrating and it can be very weighing. Um, but it's about finding that balance and knowing that presence of he is my priority. I am my priority. And I'm allowed to make that mean something.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And do you think, was there a defining moment that you can remember when you claimed your own sovereignty, where you just like as a woman and as a mama or as a leader, like either or?
I think, recently there's so many people in the online space that
Hmm.
you look at and you go, why are they doing it so easily? Right. And so that's a huge message, right? Like I see other new moms who are like just crushing it and doing all this content and traveling and all these things. And I'm
Mhm.
like, why is it so easy for them? But that's that comparison piece that really, whether you're a mom or not a mom, it'll affect you, right? Like we always get stuck into this space of comparison. It's something that especially women do. I know men do it too, but it's especially this womanly energy of like just so attracted to that femininity of watching ease in somebody else and not seeing the behind the scenes. And so for me, I think a big defining moment was when I was like, why are they all doing so well and I'm struggling so much? And then I went, shit, I'm in a story right now. Like I am in this massive story. Rather than looking at everything in front of me, rather than looking at everything that I've built, everything that I've created, everything that I have done, everything that I have manifested that has come to me in quite a fast pace, like, look at this life I've created for myself. This is pretty freaking amazing. And
Hmm.
even if this was my life, I'm happy with that.
Hmm.
And in that moment, it was like everything else just faded.
Hmm.
And I went, okay, this is the message, right? This is the message I
The
needed to
shift.
hear. Yeah.
Mm.
And then I became okay with it. And now it's like, yeah, there's still moments of frustration. And yeah, there's still moments of overwhelm when it's like, I'm in a launch right now. Right now, I'm in a launch and he's in a space where he doesn't want to sleep. He went
Mm.
down for a 15-minute nap and now we're hearing him in the background because he woke up from his 15-minute nap.
We're not, by the way, but you are. And if you want
Oh,
to pick them
okay.
up, you can. But Zoom is
Cool.
amazing. It's just like cutting all out this background noise. So
Oh,
it's,
cool.
but
Because
it's,
I can hear him playing. Like he's
ah,
fine. He's
okay.
he's good. He's upstairs and he's doing his little right, like all his little noises.
Nice.
So again, like he's just playing and having fun, but I can hear that, right? And he's saying "ma," um,
Oh,
but
so,
that's the thing of it is it's like there's going to be moments where
mm,
I want to be like, oh my gosh, I have to go get him right now,
hmm.
and there's moments where I'm like, he's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to worry. I know he's safe. He's in his crib. He's safe. He's protected. I can hear him.
Hmm.
I can let that be okay.
Yes. True, but then also you're on a podcast where it's all about serenity. So if now isn't like this is the perfect setting or room where you can also we can pause, right? You can bring it and
Absolutely.
you can have him on you. This is exactly what I love about
Mm,
moms in my sphere. I've had so many gracious moments where, I'm a single mama and my little one, he will turn 6 next week. And he has some, I don't want to call it special needs because it feels so heavy and it's so loaded. It already puts him in this box, but he does need a little bit of support here and there and is a bit behind in some areas of his age group. But um, whenever there is a meeting or something, an event when mamas are involved, it's just like we get each other, and there's
Mhm.
so much compassion, so much support that, yeah, it's just beautiful to see how we get to a stage where we let loose because, or not let loose, where we, yeah, relax a little bit into, oh yes, business, of course we are serious about it. I mean, it's nearly 11 p.m. here for me, right? We
Yeah.
scheduled this and I told you in advance there's a thunderstorm. I'm in the tropics, right? So my sons, they were a little bit they had a rough time falling asleep tonight. And I fell asleep nearly because of the extra minutes that I was in bed with them cuddling up. And
Mhm.
yet, on such a mission to make this happen. So I get out of bed again, get ready and jump on here because I want this. I want to do this. And I know you get it. And you were so
Yes.
patient and gracious and said, no problem. We started 20 minutes late, but this is only possible. And I only share this in detail because I think that matters. Like this matters.
Mhm.
Imagine I had a meeting or a podcast scheduled with a man, and no offense, I love men and everything is also wonderful because of men and with men. But
Mhm.
there's a different sense of navigating, not all men, obviously, and there's a lot of understanding men, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And it's just
Well,
this,
it's the masculine. I think,
yeah.
yeah, what I'm understanding you say is it's the masculine piece of like, I'm on a schedule, I'm on time. Like, this
Mm,
is my time and my time's important. Whereas when you become a mom, it's kind of like this flow of this whole like, well, we have to be able to navigate a different schedule. We have to be able to balance not just being on time and scheduling calls, but also knowing that we have this human who needs us. And
exactly.
that has to mean something. And of course, we understand because th you look at them and you're just like, they're just this innocent little child who doesn't know any better. They
Hmm.
don't know the schedule. Like your son's not gonna know that you have a call scheduled for 11 o'clock and it's now time to go to bed. Like
Exactly.
it's he needed his mom,
Hmm.
right? Your boys needed their mom
Yeah.
because it's scary out there with thunderstorms,
Yes.
right? And of course that's the understanding. And I think that's what's so beautiful about you creating this Sovereign Mamas container because we don't always have that understanding. I
Hmm.
know when I looked at becoming a mom, I had this idea that it was going to be easy. I don't remember seeing the hard parts,
Oh, yeah.
right? Our hormones and our brains do something really strange to us women. It's
Hmm.
like we don't remember seeing the hard parts in other people. We don't remember witnessing all of this. We just remember the glory and the beauty and the cuteness and all of the love. And
Hmm.
so we get this like feeling, I want to be a mom so bad. I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And then we
Hmm.
become a mom and we're
Holy moly.
like there's no manual. Like, why is there not a manual wrapped up in the placenta? I don't know. It doesn't, right?
Should
Like
come
it
up.
just all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden you're responsible. Like you're supposed to know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these
Yeah.
questions. Oh, should I do this? What's wrong with the baby? What's going on? How's he feel? I'm like, I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know.
I
So
remember I was so mad at my mom in the first few weeks, I think. I was like, why did she never talk about this with me?
yeah,
Like, hello, she had me and my brother. She must know.
yeah.
And I talked to her, and she said, I don't actually remember all of this. I don't know. When I asked her questions about, I don't even know, breastfeeding or changing nappies, she's like, oh, it's such a long time. I can't remember. I was like, really? Really? So
Yeah.
it's interesting how much, yes, how we forget. We also, by the way, forget after the first baby. And this is why moms have
Mm,
multiple babies. So just a heads up, you will also come
yeah.
to that phase. Oh, so second one like a little sibling, which
it happens.
Yeah. I'm just going to pause for a second. He is
Yes, of
starting to
course.
get fussy, so I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yay, look at Milky's.
Uh,
I
so
know.
cute.
Okay. There you go.
See, and this is yeah, I mean, so good. Um, what what do you think?
Life, right?
Say again?
This is life, and this is what business gets to become.
Exactly. And as long as, as long as there is this um fluidity, I mean, or if you were stressed out right now, this whole thing wouldn't make sense, right? We like
Mm,
then we would say, okay, we're forcing something because we think we have to do something that because we are still trying to match a past goal, a past version of ourselves. But the way
mm,
you're handling this is really a perfect example for sovereignty in motherhood because you're right now doing what you need to be doing, and yet still like kind of you look relaxed. You might like do like, is my boob showing or what? I cut it out.
I was gonna say I've gotten past that point, I think. I really came to the understanding that and I think especially with the work that we do as well to really empower women.
Mm.
My idea of like, is my boob showing? I'm like, whatever. It's it's food source for him. It's like nobody worries if the baby bottle's showing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Nobody needs you to cover up if the baby bottle's showing. Nobody needs you to do anything like that. So I've just come to the understanding that I'm like, it's a food source, right?
It is.
And guaranteed most of the women who are watching this are going to be moms or they're going to be women
Wow.
and we all have them, right?
Exactly.
And, and if there's any men watching, then it's like it's empowering to know that we can do this. We can show up. Being a
Yes.
mom is not a hindrance. Being a mom is not going to stop us from standing in our power. It actually creates us more powerful.
Yes. I love this. I love this. And I feel like this is it's such a past moment already. Like, why are we not normalize this? Like, why is this not normal? When I was breastfeeding my first son, um, I needed to, like, we were walking I visited my parents in Germany, and we just went to a park and then quickly to get something out of a shop. I think I was thirsty. I don't remember. And then I needed to sit down because he was hungry then. And there was nothing. And it was like in front of a shopping mall, but there was a bench. And I was like, oh, perfect. I sit there and did the same move like you. And suddenly an elderly woman walked past and she stopped, stared at me really cross, looked at me, and she's like, "Excuse me, can you please do this in private?" And I was like, "Oh, wow. You mean give my child his food?" And she's like, "This is really not appropriate in the public space." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was about to say something, and I was thinking, so all the nudity that we see on advertisement or whatever, and then I was just like, okay, if you feel that way, I'm gonna continue feeding my child right now because he's hungry. If you do not want to see this, I suggest you look the other way. And I said it really nicely, and I said it so warm that she didn't feel offended. But then I was really shocked because I understood that there is some sort of misconception still in our society, and that this is something we should be hiding. It's not, and it's the most natural thing. Like everyone should be loving this, supporting this,
Yeah.
like cheering you on. Wow, you're creating this, like you're feeding a human being and creating this miracle, right? From your own
Yeah.
body. How amazing. Um, yeah, if it that's still something that I do remember. And now I wanna, yes. I lost track of
And
my
it's
train of thought, but yeah, you go.
and it's just such a old school way of thinking. And
Mm.
so if the older generation says anything to me, oh hi. All right. If the older generation says anything to me, I say it respectfully, and I'm just like, that's not how we do it anymore. Right? Like, I mean, I understand and I respect where you're coming from because that's what society taught back
Exactly.
then. And so I get why you feel that way. But for me, I own the fact that my child needs to eat when he needs to eat. And if you're not liking it, I'm not going to hide it. You can walk away.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation with my dad about that because he's somebody who feels that way, right? Like he's like, well, what if it makes somebody uncomfortable?
Mm.
And we were having a get together with some family and stuff at his house or at like my parents' house. And he's like, I know, like when you're around us, you just kind of feed him and whatever. He goes, but what if it makes them uncomfortable? I said, well, then they can either look away or leave the room.
Mm.
And
Mm.
he's like, what? I said, I'm not making them uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, this really does. It's such a beautiful metaphor for the rest of life, too. We're constantly holding back on our gifts and
Mm.
expressing our gifts to the world because what if I make someone uncomfortable?
Mm.
What if sharing my truth is uncomfortable for someone else to hear? What
Exactly.
if I shouldn't show up online, or what if I shouldn't show up in the space I want to because someone else might not like it?
Mm. And that brings me to the yeah, to what are you said you're in a launch mode. What are you building at the minute? What is something that you want to share and that we can also support you with between the women who are watching and myself? Tell us a little bit about the business side of things because we know you now as the mama. Now we want to hear all about your business.
Yeah. And my business is like shifted so much since becoming a mom. Um, but it's still so very the same. And
Mm,
it's such a beautiful way to be able to balance the shifts and transitions in life. And I think that's kind of always what my business has been surrounded for is to really shift that perspective. And I help to empower women to know themselves on a deeper level.
mm,
And so I'm not a business coach. I speak to your soul. I speak to your confidence. I speak to who you are at the depth of your core, and I help you to bring that out.
mm.
And so right now, oh, sorry, he's hitting buttons.
That's okay.
Swinging around and hitting buttons. So right now, my biggest thing that has been just such a blessing in being a mom and creating this life of balance has been a membership that I actually launched a couple of years ago. Hey,
Mm,
baby. And I actually kept that going. That's the only thing that I never took a break from
mm,
because I love it so much. So even when he was a couple weeks old, I was doing calls in my membership because it's just such a beautiful space. And it's called the EFR membership portal. It's my big thing is empowered feminine rising. My free Facebook group's called Empowered Feminine Rising. And what we do in there is not just a simple like course where you're going to get tangible results and all of that. It's really allowing you to shift the beliefs in your life, to shift who you see yourself as and
mm.
build the confidence to walk in this life, in this world with grace and speed and just really allow you those manifestations to become magnetic to you.
I love it. Love it. And so that is something that has been like, would you say, so if someone's listening and saying, okay, I'm navigating this, maybe the idea or even they're already in it, the motherhood and the entrepreneurship, would you say throughout those early stages of motherhood, you need some sort of backup, right? It's like the
Mm.
membership was your backup so that you could sustain, you could still be connected to your clients. There is, and of course, there's so many ways to do that. Some people have their their online products, their digital products, their Facebook communities, and you chose that membership. So how would you suggest, if someone came to say, what do you recommend? Why would you say this is the better? Or in general, is there any lesson or tool that you tapped into that made you make those moves? Because you didn't know back then that you wanted to continue, right? So it was just like trusting your intuition that you wanted to keep going. And now you look back and say, oh, this was so perfect, right?
So I think the saying that's coming to mind right now is, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I never fully understood it, because I'm like, there's always work even when you love what you do, right? It's always going to be work. But to reframe it into what I discovered here is, when you are passionate about the purpose that you feel you are meant to serve on this earth, when you are in love, like magically, devotedly in love with the work that you do, it becomes easier to show up. And so it wasn't like I wanted to stop. It was like that part of me would have been missing if I didn't.
Yeah. Perfect.
And so find something that completes you. So if you have something, and so if you are transitioning into motherhood right now, or you're trying to balance the motherhood and entrepreneurship, first off, I just want to say it can be really hard, and allow it to be hard, and that's okay. Right? You're going to have mixed feelings. You're going to feel guilty about showing up in your business. You're going to feel guilty about not showing up in your business, and it's just being a mom, and let that be. Your emotions are valid, and that's totally okay. But second, find something that you absolutely just want to do, right? Sit with yourself and say, what if I felt complete right now, what would I be doing? Breastfeeding on a mastermind call? Sure, let's do it, right? Like breastfeeding on a podcast. Building a community with other moms, with other women, empowering each other. That is just such a beautiful energy to be in. And what a beautiful energy for him to be in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the ripple effect. So what can you share? This was already like one amazing truth, right? But if you have one more in your box of wisdom, one truth, if you could whisper them in the ears of a sovereign mama, like today, what would it be? Something that you maybe just recently even discovered. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, because this is a totally free flow conversation. Like this is also something that, we're multitasking, we're doing all the things, and we can, like, I think that is one thing that I was so mind blown. Like motherhood trains you to be professional in an instant. Like you switch on and you're so efficient, right? Because like this is the moment that counts. You can't have another take. It's now or never. And it makes you so turned on and tapped in, and or however the saying is. It's like you really switched on. And that's a gift. And I love this about being a mom.
Yeah, and it's like you learn things that you never knew you knew. So I guess my final truth, I mean, it's not my final truth, but the last truth that I'll leave you with here, the last truth I'll share here that's coming through for me right now is just trust. Like trust your intuition when it comes to motherhood, when it comes to being a CEO, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to going back to work, if you're going back to work, whatever it might be, just trust your intuition and know that it's like, just because somebody else's journey looks different, it doesn't mean yours has to. Like your journey gets to look exactly how it looks. and that is perfect for you. And so you don't need to like, again, when I started like looking up all of the different mom stuff, there is so much contradiction out there. There is so much content out there that says, do this, no, do that. Like start them eating this, no, start them eating that, do this, do that, breastfeed, formula, blah, all those things. Be a business owner, don't be a business owner, get support, don't get support. Like trust your intuition. You know, ultimately trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting the way it looks for you, and not putting pressure on it having to be perfect.
Exactly. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We let you be mama again, but if well, last question, of course, where can listeners connect with you? You already said it in your Facebook group, but just briefly give them the names again.
Yeah, so you can follow me at kelly.schmalenberg on Facebook and Instagram. My free Facebook group is The Empowered Feminine Rising.
Amazing.
And yeah, like,
I'll link below.
I was going to say we can share the links if you want.
Yes, of course, we will. They're all in the notes. And yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this, squeezing in an interview in between nap times. And yes, it's really wonderful to hear what you shared, your wisdom, your story, and the way you show up. It's so refreshing. So yes, grounded in your motherhood. So
Thank you, Julia. This has been amazing. And I love these kinds of conversations. So I'm so grateful that you are creating this space for moms to come and find that support and to be held. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this. So thank you.
yeah, thank you too. And have fun with your little one. And thanks for listening, everyone. And like I said, you can find out everything about Kelly and experience more of her work in the links and about the Sovereign Mama movements, of course, as well. And that's it for this episode. Thanks so much. And